Hey y'all, I am out here today and I wanted to take the time to answer a question that I get quite frequently. And that question is, can you reuse glass jars from items previously commercially canned, like spaghetti sauce, pickles, or jelly jars that you might have, like a Welch's jelly or ragu spaghetti or spaghetti sauce or something in? And I will give you my answer in a minute, but first I wanted to let you know what the National Center for Home Canning says about it. I'm going to read you what they say. According to the National Center for Home Canning, most commercial pint and quart-sized mayonnaise or salad dressing jars may be used with new two-piece lids for canning acid foods. However, you should expect more seal failures and jar breakage. These jars have a narrower sealing surface and are tempered less than mason jars and may be weakened by repeated contact with metal spoons or knives used in dispensing mayonnaise or salad dressing. Seemingly insignificant scratches in glass may cause cracking and breakage while processing jars in a canner. Would you be quiet? I'm talking. Shh. Mayonnaise type jars are not recommended for use with foods to be processed in a pressure canner because of excessive jar breakage. Other commercial jars with mouths that cannot be sealed with two-piece canning lids are not recommended for use in canning any food at home. So that's what the National Center for Home Canning says about it. Okay, so first of all, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen mayonnaise in a glass. Yeah, I just got attacked by a chicken. Scared the crap out of me. So anyway, so like I was saying, I haven't seen mayonnaise processed. I just can't even think now. Crazy chicken. Really? Why'd you attack me? Okay, so I haven't seen mayonnaise in a glass jar in a long time. It's most mayonnaise comes in plastic these days. So I don't even know where that's coming from because, we don't can in plastic, so that's a no-brainer. By the way, these are the types of jars that I'm talking about. Like this was a French onion dip. It has a lug lid. I canned pickles in this one. No, pickle relish. Here's one. What did this used to be? I don't even know what it used to be. But I canned jelly in this one. Here's some of the ragu spaghetti sauce jars that I reused. Now this was not technically canning. This was just dry storage for beans. But I have used these for canning, water bath canning as well. So anyway, my answer is it depends. I have personally never reused a jar for pressure canning. You better get away from me. I have personally never reused a jar for pressure canning. I've only used them for water bath canning, so I really can't say much about pressure canning in a reused jar. You better get out of here. You gonna go where the rooster went? Keeping an eye on you. So my answer is yes, where water bath canning is concerned. I reuse almost all of my commercial glass jars if they're thick enough. You can tell by looking at a jar if it's thick enough or not. That includes the spaghetti sauce jars, pickle jars, dip jars, jelly jars. I reuse them all, as well as the lug lid that comes on them. I just wash them all with soap and water until I'm ready to can in them, and then I sterilize them like I would any other jar. If the biggest concern of the NCHC is metal scraping the inside of the jars, well, that's not a problem for me because, for example, my spaghetti sauce jars, metal never touches the inside. I just dump them into a pan, so that's not a problem. I guess a fork goes in a pickle jar sometimes, but I'm not sitting there scraping the inside like these mayonnaise jars that they're talking about from, I don't know, how long has it been since mayonnaise was in glass jars? It's a long time in my opinion. But anyway, and for the record, ball jars will also break when you're canning with them. They can only be used so many times before you're going to end up with some sort of a breakage eventually. I know the canning Karens are going to come after me, so let me remind you that I started out this video by letting everyone know exactly what the NCHC thinks about it. I will add for the Karens who like to make silly comments that there are no canning laws in America. There are canning recommendations. There's no laws. I and many others have safely canned in reused jars for decades. In fact, people in other countries do it a whole lot more than Americans do. We are probably the first generation to say it can't be done. Back in World War II, the USDA actually encouraged people to reuse their glass jars for canning because there was a glass shortage. When there was no longer a glass shortage, suddenly it was no longer safe again. You can do what you want with that info. Of course, a ball book isn't going to recommend that you reuse jars. That makes them lose money. The truth of the matter is that we have become a society that wants everything bubble wrapped. Everything's dangerous. Everyone wants a 100% guarantee that everything is safe, and there's no such thing. You can get botulism from something you buy from the local grocery store. That's why I don't open a can of green beans and take one out and eat it. I make sure they're cooked first because I don't even trust commercial people. How many people have died from things they bought from a grocery store, including Bluebell ice cream, which you would never think would hurt you? Let's be realistic here. There's no 100% guarantee when it comes to something you're putting in your body. But we're not out to kill our families. We want to can safely too, but we also want to use our brains. If things don't get better in this country, what are people going to do? Who's to say there's not fixing to be another glass shortage? We've got shortages coming out our ears right now, including baby formula. Who's to say that who's to say that ball jars won't be next? We don't know what shortages are coming up. Inflation is ridiculous. I'm paying twice what I used to pay for gas. I'm paying twice what I used to pay for chicken from the grocery store. You know, everything is skyrocketing. And if we want to cut some costs by reusing some jars in a safe manner, then who is that Karen to say, no, you can't do that? I would rather see you starve than reuse a jar. Well, that's not me. No, you can reuse your jars if they are thick enough and if you're water bathing them. Is it officially recommended by the NCHC? No, it is not. I cannot say that enough. It is not. Do I recommend it for pressure canning? No, I do not. Do I fully endorse some jars within reason for water bath canning? Yes, I do. If you have ever reused jars for pressure canning, please comment below and let us know your experience with that. So anyway, I hope that answers that question. I am fully prepared for the target I have made myself as far as the carrying cannons are. Carrying cannons? So hot out here. So anyway, I hope that answers that question. I am aware that I have made a target on my forehead for the canning Karens, and I'm okay with that because I'm speaking the truth. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember to can safely, and I hope you guys have a good week.